The SC/ST Act was brought broadly for three purposes. One is to contain this atrocities on scheduled castes, on scheduled tribes, to provide a speedy trial by establishing special courts and by providing relief and rehabilitation to the victims. Two things are there in this act. One is relief and rehabilitation. The second is speedy trial. And the third is putting an end and stop to the atrocities on SCs and STs. After this act, no doubt, the act came into force in 1989, and the rules for the implementation of the act came 6 years later in 1995. But even let us assume that the act came into force in 1989 but started functioning in 1995. But the functioning of that act is very tardy. The very purpose and aim in bringing out that legislation were not fulfilled at all. Speedy trial is one of the important concomitant of the act. There are no speedy trials. Cases are being languished in courts for the last 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. Speedy trial means the maximum time a sessions case can take is 3 months, maximum time. Even a murder case. Because after all, case is registering the crime, investigation, within 2-3 days or within a week, the case can be investigated, filing of the charge sheet, and started examining the witnesses. It can be finished within a month or 2. That's why in this act, 30 days time is only given for the purpose of completing the investigation and laying the charge sheet in the court. So once the charge sheet is filed within 30 days, next 30 days is sufficient for trial. So 2 months a case can be completed. So that is the meaning of a speedy trial. So that is defeated. There are no speedy trials at all. Second is establishment of special courts. No special court is established under this act so far in the entire country. Not a single court. In Andhra Pradesh also there is not even a single court established under the act. SC/ST Act section 14 says there shall be a special court to try the offences under this act. That's what the act says. Under the act, under section 14, this is the special court to try the offences under this act. So we are establishing this. No such act, such court is being established under the act. These courts so far established and trying the offences under the SC/ST Act so far are not special courts. They are sessions court, regular sessions courts established under the Criminal Procedure Code. They are designated as special court for the purpose of this SC/ST Act. Regular sessions courts which are there under Criminal Procedure Code, which are meant for trying the offences, various offences including the offences under Indian Penal Code and several other laws. The regular courts are there, sessions courts, session judges. One of the such court is taken for the purpose of trying the offences under the SC/ST Act. That court is designated as special court. So therefore, the very purpose of establishing a special courts is not so far achieved. Not even a single court, special court. Special court means a court is established, it tries the offences, finish it off. The job is over. But no such court is established so far. So third is relief and rehabilitation. Absolutely, relief is very, very tardy, very, very minimal. There is no rehabilitation. Just they throw some crumbs on them. Immediately when an incident is happened, an atrocity is committed, then immediately some rice will be distributed, some clothes will be distributed, ration will be distributed. That's all, finished. At the most, in very, very minimal cases, land is being distributed, except that there is no relief and rehabilitation. Rehabilitation, relief is to make the victim to stand on his legs or her legs again after the atrocity and lead a normal life. That's not there. So the very purpose of the act is defeated, not achieved. But now we have reached a stage that people are agitating to take back this, to scrap this SC/ST Act, because they say it is being misused. I only put a question to them who are asking for the scrapping of this act. If at all the act is being misused, I don't think that is misused. If at all it is being misused, it is only misused at the instance of the upper caste. In this country, the scheduled castes or scheduled tribes have not reached a stage where they can misuse an act. They are not in a position to make use of the act. I am really stunned to know that the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are misusing the act. No, there is no misuse. If at all there is a misuse, it is only misuse at the instance of the upper caste. Even it is there, I go a little further extent saying that which act is not being misused in this country? Every act is being misused in this country, including Indian Penal Code. Therefore, misuse of an act is not the ground to scrap the act. Scrapping the act is, it can be scrapped when its purpose is achieved. When the act is no more necessary to contain the evil, to contain the offences, to put an end to this evil practice of untouchability, then the act can be taken back. But such stage we have not reached. Another thing is, people are not able to realize or they appreciate the situation in this act. See, as soon as an atrocity is committed, since the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are not in a position to approach the police station to lodge a complaint, they have not mustered the courage to approach a police station and lodge a complaint against the upper caste people, though a heinous crime is committed against them. An atrocious offence is committed against them. They are not in a position to approach the police station. Now, since because of so much agitation, so much campaigning, people are reached a stage where they are mustering courage and approaching police station. Now what is the situation is, police refuse to register the crime. They are not registering the crimes. They are registering the crime, if at all registering the crime, they are registering the crimes under Indian Penal Code, offences under Indian Penal Code, but not under SC/ST Act. If at all a case is registered under an SC/ST Act, it is only because of so much agitation, so much pressures from people, from organizations, from activists, then only they register the offence, this case under SC/ST Act. So the first stage is the crimes are not being registered. Even if they are registered, there is no proper investigation. Even if there is an investigation, there is no charge sheet. Even there is a charge sheet, there is no trial. Trial takes a time. So the whole thing is taking time and being dragged in the courts. Thereby that by the time they reach the trial, the very stench of the offence is gone, and by that time either the witnesses are purchased, or the witnesses are cowed down, or the witnesses are threatened, or the witnesses are implicated in another false cases, and they are bargaining, unless you don't withdraw your case, I am not going to withdraw my case. So by adopting such measures, because of gaining time during all these processes, the very whatever available to the victims because of these various agitations, they are not able to achieve. Therefore, what I mean to say is, the very purpose of the act is not achieved. Even if they are trying to make use of the act, the punishments are very, very, very minimal. Police are not registering the crimes. Prosecutor is not sincere in prosecuting the case. He is not sincere in examining the witnesses. Even if the prosecution is sincere and taking the witnesses to the courts and getting the examination, the judges are not friendly to the victims. That's why the punishment rate is very, very, very minimal. Dismally, it's very minimal. Not only discouraging, but it is awful. They say the punishment rate under the SCST Act is 4%, some say, 7%, some say, 2%, some say. But according to me, it just not crossed 2%. But even some figures are shown that the punishment rate is 7% or 4% or 10%, but those punishments are not under SCST Act. Those punishments are IPC, offences under IPC. So the punishment under SCST Act are very, very minimal. The judgments are anti-Dalits, judgments are discouraging. When the people are not able to get justice, even after that great trial, even after the turmoil, what is the use? People will be discouraged. They have received the atrocious behavior, and if you approach the court, they are not able to get justice. So a situation has developed in the victims belonging to SCs and STs. Even after we go to the courts, we are not going to get justice. If they approach the police are not encouraging, police are not coming helpful to us, not registering the crimes, not taking the accused to the courts. Even if all this, if we surpass that stage, if we approach the courts are not giving favorable verdicts to the victims. So the police, prosecutor and the judges, all these three combined, joined together and are defeating the very purpose of the act. So the now situation is, we have to see, we have to create a situation, we have to create an awareness in the society, particularly belongs to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, to make use of the act effectively, to see that police register the crimes and proper investigation is done. We must bring force on the prosecuting agency to present the case effectively, and also trying to influence the judiciary to change its mindset, to change its upper caste mentality. Unless and until we change the mentality of the upper caste judges, we are not able to get justice in these courts. Therefore, the whole thing now is to not just to succumb to the pressures of this upper caste to withdraw the SCST Act, but we must build up an agitation, a movement to strengthen the SCST Act, to see that it is effectively implemented and the accused are punished.